We live in the desert Southwest, in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And when rain falls from the sky, everyone loses their goddamn minds. Hello, cult members. Welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is episode 70-ish. We're just going to go with the numbers for now.
We're going with it.
We had a couple episodes that were lost in the great motherboard rebrandishing.
Hard drive.
That's what it was. Hard drive. Computers. Not technically sound person. Anyways, hi. And like I said, it's been raining here for a good 2 hours because of the monsoons. We hit July, and then the humidity hit, and it'll be here until September. And
yay!
My hair is gigantic.
At least it'll be a little bit cooler.
Maybe, but now we have Florida weather going on. So.
And our pool looks like a swamp.
I just cleaned it. Son of a bitch.
I know.
First off, we want to ask you guys to please subscribe to this channel. We do stuff all the time, and we are 9 days from San Diego Comic-Con. And so we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff around that. My vacation time got approved for Friday, so we're #CouchCon is a go. And so what we ask from you guys is we put this stuff out there for free, at least for now. Hopefully a Patreon will happen sometime in the near future. What we ask from you is that you subscribe to this channel, hit the bell to get notifications, and then when you get that all done, you copy and paste it into every social media platform you can come across and share it with all your friends.
Right.
Am I asking for too much?
Yes, but
I'm on this, not in general, just on this.
Okay. No, probably not.
Okay. I don't think I'm asking for too much. Our hope one day is to be as cool as Late to the Party. Our friends, Late to the Party, Robert and Vanessa, they live in Tucson. We get to see them every once in a while. They've been asked to use some of their reactions of Doctor Who. The BBC America has asked them if they could use some of their materials, and I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to Robert for probably a good 20 minutes via text last week, going back and forth and what's going on with them, and they're super like, oh my God, BBC America wants to do our stuff, and yeah. So it's
and we were like, oh my God, BBC America wants to do their stuff.
I told them, I'm like, we freaked out. I don't know even how you guys handled it.
Yeah.
But BBC America contacted them, and they're gonna use their reactions at least to the first episode where they introduced Bill last season.
Yeah.
And so keep an eye out for that. We are going to do our best to catch up on everything. Robert was saying, and I think he's thinking it, that it's for the Doctor Who panel at San Diego Comic-Con. So maybe they'll show it.
Maybe.
But
maybe.
I'm hoping.
They showed a lot of the Doctor Who panel last year.
Yeah.
They recorded it or whatever so you could watch it later.
Yeah.
But sometimes the video they cut out, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I expect to see some kind of trailer from that panel. They were supposed to do it for the first game of England in the World Cup. But as of today, England's in the final four of the World Cup for you sportsy nerds. But they didn't do it. We got like a 15-second trailer of stuff that we'd already seen.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to hold it for San Diego. So
probably.
There's not a ton of news because of San Diego. So this week's episode is going to be our mid-year top. I'm not going to say top 10, but 10 movies that we really liked so far this year.
Right.
They're not our top 10. They're not our favorites. They're not the best of. There's just 10 movies that we really liked this year, and we're going to talk about it.
You could say they're our favorites because we really liked them.
That's true.
But it's mid-year, so those numbers could all change.
Right. And they're in no particular order or anything like that. But there was a couple of news things that came out today that I just wanted to mention real quick. The the digital release for Ready Player One is out. The DVD comes out on the 24th of July. Infinity War, the DVD release is on the
First?
I had it.
He had it.
I had it. Anyways, it's on the. It's still going. Okay. It's on. Anyways, Infinity War is coming out. Deadpool 2 is coming out on digital and then on Blu-ray, and they're both in August, like a 14 days apart from each other. So,
yeah.
I should have written it down. It was like a last minute, let's throw it in here kind of thing, and so.
Yeah, it was over like the next month, basically.
Yeah, it was like the 24th, and then 14 days later was, so that would be like the 2nd or 3rd or whatever, is Infinity War, and then 2 weeks after that is Deadpool.
Yeah.
And so I will be spending a lot of time at Zia over the next few weeks. But I'm a physical media person. I like to have the physical media stuff. So we have a few digital downloads, but it... as we're finding, it's very difficult to watch it anywhere outside of our PS4.
Or at least on an airplane.
Right.
Going to Europe.
To cross the lakey pondy thing. And the other thing that we wanted to talk about real quick before we got into our top 10 of the mid-year is we want to point out that we reported this shit first.
Like a month ago.
Like a month and bunches of, like 6 weeks ago. 8 years ago, we reported this. About a month ago, out of MegaCon, there was rumors that Billy D. Williams had been trimmed down a little bit, had been working out, eating better, all that kind of stuff. And we ran with the idea that he was going to be in episode 9.
Yep.
Today, this afternoon, about 3 hours ago, THR reported that Billy D. Williams will be in episode 9. We were the first ones to say that.
You heard it here first.
We were the first to report it. Actually, we're the first to speculate that it was going to happen.
As far as we know.
Are you excited?
Maybe.
I hope it's more than a cameo, but not like a major role.
Yeah. We'll see.
And then they brought in Kerry Russell. That was Friday. They announced that.
Yeah.
In some role that nobody really knows. It's supposed to be a really physical kind of role. Everybody's saying it's Rey's mom.
Yeah.
I'm going with Sabine Wren. It's Sabine from Rebels, who's going to be gone. Went with Ahsoka out in spoilers for Rebels. Who they both went looking for Ezra.
But does that fit the timeline?
So
Wouldn't
they
Sabine be
leave.
old?
They leave right after episode 6, I believe. I haven't looked it up, but it was after the Battle of Endor that they get together and leave. So, and that's the time.
Older.
She was a teenager before Rogue One.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and it's only a 19-year gap. It's either 19 or 30. One of the gaps is 19 years. One of the gaps is 30 years between the prequels and the original trilogy and the original. But I can never remember which one is which. I'm hoping it.
It's probably 30 from A New Hope to
Last Jedi, or to Last Jedi.
Yeah.
To Force
35,
Awakens.
Yeah. Because look how much older everybody is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it would be 30. Well, damn it. Sabine Wren. I'm going with Sabine Wren until told otherwise. All right, let's get into this. This year, we've done 28 movies as of Friday in the theaters. Actually, it's 27. One was on Netflix, and that was the Cloverfield Paradox. It will not be on this list. We've seen 28 new movies this year, not including all of our rewatches of the Road to Infinity War.
Right.
So we did every Marvel movie getting ready for Infinity War. We did, I think it's 8 full seasons of series. So Arrow, Legends, the
Legion.
history of comic books, James Cameron's thing, Legion, X-Files, and then we rewatched all of Sherlock, all of Stranger Things. We do actually leave the house, people. It's actually
We do.
We've been cramming in a lot of stuff, and then we're watching Atomic Blonde before we came to record. So that's how it is. But we've seen a lot more movies this year than we have in the past. Well, we saw a lot more movies last year than we've ever seen in the past, and we've seen more this year than we saw last year already.
Right.
And we're probably gonna go see Equalizer this weekend, and/or Skyscraper somewhere in probably the next week or so.
Yep.
And then we have tickets for Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yep.
For the Thursday it comes out, so we'll be doing a full review for that. We just got to get to August, really, when it comes down to, because August is like, oh, that's a shit show. I don't think I need to see that. So you ready to get into this?
Sure.
This is our no particular order. We kind of did this for the 4th of July. It was 5 movies that we liked for patriotism, and so it kind of started this conversation about mid-year review kind of thing.
Right. Mid-year. I don't know if review is the right word, but mid-year.
Mid-year discussion of the movies that we've really
There you
liked
go.
so far.
There you go.
And that title is way too long to put in a little box for YouTube. So it's our top 10 movies of the mid-year.
MYDO.
Mido?
Mid-year.
Mido. We're going with Mido. So we're going to start with one we actually just saw on Friday, and that's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yep.
We're going to talk about these. We're going to give our scores, but we're not going to give spoilers or anything like that. So there's some of these if you haven't seen them yet. I'm pretty sure at least one of these most everybody hasn't seen because it's already gone from the theater, and that's really disappointing. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, super fun movie.
Yes. Yep.
They talked about it today. It made $76 million opening weekend. And it's $20 million more than the last one.
Right.
But it's the lowest opening for a sequel Marvel movie released in July on Tuesday with a odd number. $76 million for a movie that really isn't. It's a small Marvel movie.
Right. Yeah. It's not. I mean, first of all, it's Ant-Man, so it's a small Marvel movie, but but yeah, it's the first one was small too. It's not Captain America. It's not Iron Man.
It's one of the he's like a third level character,
right?
And the movie is so much fun. And Evangeline Lilly is amazing, and
hopefully
Paul Rudd's a lot of fun with the two of them. The banter back and forth,
and Michael Pena, and hopefully that they feel that this is profitable enough that in the next phase they do some more of that with smaller characters, smaller movies.
I really hope that now the rumor is they're going to go cosmic with the phase 4 whenever they get the Sony deal done and they just do Marvel with a giant 4 over the top of it. Because we all know Fantastic Four is coming and that's all cosmic. But it's you need to have these smaller movies. Not everything can be a earth-ending,
right,
universe-shattering movie.
Yeah.
Or your audience is going to get immune. Is that the right word?
No. Yeah.
You
get immune.
You get immune to catastrophe, and
it actually for this movie worked. We talked about it in our review, but it was a spoiler review. But that there's the villain in this movie is different, so that helps, right? That it's like you said, it's not a world-ending, because after a while you're like, how many times can the world end, the universe end?
Right.
I
mean, even Doctor Strange, in the grand scheme of things, was a very small movie. Now, cannot say his name, is a big character, eats planets and stuff, but the story itself was very self-contained, and so Memnon, I'm going with Memnon, But it was also an origin story, but it was a very much of a smaller movie. And even the original Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, they were smaller movies too. So, people need to be reminded the smaller movies are actually really good. I expect Captain Marvel, because it is an origin movie, but it's going to be probably a little bit bigger. Because we're going to get the Kree. I'm just going to leave, okay? I can't talk. The Kree Skrull War. I still don't think that's right, but whatever. That'll be a little bit bigger of a movie, and it's an origin story, so it has to, and with everything else that's happened.
Right, everybody's going to go see it to see how it tied into Infinity War.
We'll figure that out. So, I gave it a 3.5. Janice gave it a 3. Like we said, really enjoy it. We're going to buy it. We have a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
Not an end-all, be-all world beater.
Right.
Okay. Our next movie came out this year is Annihilation, with Natalie Portman, based off the Area X Southern Reach trilogy, with Oscar Isaac. We've seen this movie 3 times now. I'm just now starting to understand it, and I read the books.
Yeah.
It is a make you think kind of movie,
and a movie you can watch over and over again and find something new.
Yeah.
The first time when we saw it, it was like, wow, this is just visually, stunning and a lot to take in. But then, so now, okay, I'm kind of over that, so I can actually pay attention to the story a little bit more.
Right.
And you get more out of it.
I'm really interested to see if movies with Mikey does Annihilation.
Yeah.
And try to work on the depths and everything that goes on with that movie. And one of my complaints when we did our review was that it kind of took the first book and the ending of the third book and kind of mashed it all into one movie.
Yeah.
They were never going to do a trilogy. And so there's some stuff that doesn't really get explained as well as I would like to have had it explained. But like I said, I read the books, and she didn't read the book, and she was able to pick up on everything that kind of happened, what was going on.
Yeah.
And so, I spent like a half an hour after the movie going, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happens, because I had just finished reading the trilogy.
And while I'm making dinner, he's usually telling me about whatever book it was he listened to that day. So I did get, I got some of it, but
yeah, it's a very interesting book trilogy, and it makes you think about. Even the movie kind of makes you think about existence, your existence, and where you kind of sometimes are in the pecking order of food or
well, I kind of put it in the not annihilation.
We're doing great tonight, guys.
Yeah. The one with the hands that
Arrival.
I put it in the same kind of context as that. It challenges your ideas of what human beings are potentially in the universe, and if aliens or whatever come to Earth,
are they here to conquer? Are they learning from us how to conquer? Are they
or is it not just as black and white as we're here, as friends, or we're here to give you smallpox blankets, it's not as black and white as that.
Super in-depth movie. We've actually talked about doing Arrival and Annihilation back to back, and then our brains would leak out of our ears. But I love Annihilation. I thought it was so well done. I probably need to watch it like 3 or 4 more times, like I said, just to kind of get a better feeling. But just the performances and everything, and visually it's amazing. And the idea of movies that make you think is good. Not everything has to be a big blockbuster, Infinity War, blah, 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 blah. But also everything can't be 3 billboards or Annihilation, where you have to think about stuff. There's a happy medium in there for both, and so I think people get lost in that sometimes. I gave it a 3.5. Janice gave it a 3.5. We did the trailer reaction. No, the movie review is in here somewhere. So give it a look, a watch. We just worked out and ate. So it's been like blah, 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 blah. Should have had some coffee or something. The next movie we're going to talk about is Ready Player One. Now, in my research of going back and finding the scores, I didn't realize we liked this movie so much. And then we went over to a friend's, Jermel's house, Jeremy and Melanie's house this weekend for a it's fucking hot, let's get in the pool party.
Yeah.
And they got the digital download, and we were trying to leave, and they're watching it, and we're both like,
okay, we need to
leave. We're waiting for the Blu-ray. The book is straight out amazing. I've been through it 5 times now.
Yeah.
And although the movie doesn't match the book, it gets what the book is.
Yeah, and I think it did just fine. Having been disappointed multiple times with book to movie adaptations,
she's saying it, I'm not.
I thought it did fine. The book was way too big. You were never gonna fit that all into a movie, and I felt that they did a good job making it fit, making people that hadn't read the book understand what was going on.
And there was a bunch of stuff that's in that book, in the book, that you were never going to get the rights to be in the movie.
Right. And I really felt like there was enough stuff in there for the people who had read the book, to give them, the feels or whatever that they wanted. Now, there were some people that were like, it wasn't the book. Well,
it was never going to be the book.
Was never going
to
be
the only
the
way
book.
they were going to be able to do the book is do the end of each movie was clearing the gates. Getting the key and clearing the gates was the end of each movie.
Yeah, and I don't think that's interesting enough to make 3 movies out of. I mean, it's cool, but
we would love to see that, but for the masses, I don't think that would have actually ever worked.
Yeah, there's just not enough there.
Yeah, but the movie is, I mean, Steven Spielberg, just waving his big freaking hammer around of saying, look, I could do these big huge movies still. I can also do the post. and just he freaking nailed it, and you feel for all the characters, and it's visually the stuff that happens in the Oasis. This looks so awesome, and all the little Easter eggs, and I won't say member berries because it's more than member berries, but it's just the Easter eggs and the references and the continuation of the storyline and just all the different things that go on. And the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just so well done. Like we said, we're waiting for the Blu-ray to come out. We're probably going to watch it 4 times in a row when it comes out. Mostly just to kind of catch all the Easter eggs that we missed. We saw it twice in the theater within 4 days of each other. And did we see it 3 times in the theater? We saw the premiere. We went with everybody. Then we go see it again. Maybe we saw it 3 times in the theater. Movie Pass weekend.
Oh, we might. Yeah, we might have seen it 3 times.
And we still didn't catch all the Easter eggs and stuff that happened. So, amazing. I gave it a 4.5 only because it wasn't quite the book. And Janice gave it a 4.75. She's given that look like I don't remember giving it that high of a score, but it's that high of a score for us. So, just a lot of amazing stuff happened in that movie.
We did. To be fair, we did see it the premiere night or whatever in IMAX. So
I was watching the premiere from the red carpet in LA at Grauman's on my phone while sitting in the IMAX theater with the screen saying, "Welcome to the IMAX premiere of." Yeah. So it was super over the top.
Cool experience. Yeah.
Cool experience, which we've talked about before, changes how we feel about the movie. So
yeah.
The next one is Game Night. Game Night was a smaller movie that came out in the spring. I want to say March, April.
Yeah.
Bunch of friends get together, play games all the time. And then the one guy's brother shows up and does a murder mystery thing, except it's real. It's all real the whole time.
Or is it?
And it's like this whodunit caper, modern version of Clue. It's just pretty much what it is. And you're trying to figure out what's
Jason
real.
Bateman and I want to say Emily Blunt. That's not who it is.
Yeah.
But I can picture her. I just can't think of what her name is because
Because we have the dumbs.
But yeah, it was silly. It was funny. It was, you didn't have to think about it. It was, we talked about it. It's kind of on par with Tag, except I think game night was a little better than Tag, and we liked Tag just fine. But I think game night was a little.
I think I laughed a little bit
funnier.
more at game night than I did Tag.
Yeah.
Both movies are going to be something that we watch when they're on TNT,
Yep.
or they're going to show up on HBO or something like that. We're like, oh, look, Tag's on, and we're going to watch it.
Yep.
Or game night. Both are smaller movies.
Yeah.
They're not. I think both of them, their budgets were like maybe $40 or $50 million. They're not super big movies, but they made like all of their money back and everything else.
Yeah.
And back to the conversation, not everything has to be big, and not everything has to be like mind melding. I have to think about it for the next 3 months.
Just go and watch a movie and have fun.
And just you'll see there's yes, there's comic book movies on our list and sci-fi movies on our list, but there's kind of a different kind of. This is more of, like I was saying, like the whodunit kind of Clue version.
Just looking at it, we have a lot of big movies and a lot of small movies.
Small movies, yeah. And
we're not really in the middle.
And then Annihilation, which isn't.
Which is a big small movie.
It's a big small movie, yeah. So game night, I searched and searched and searched and searched and searched and searched. Have the dumbs. We could not find score. So scores on game night. I'm thinking like 3.25 for me.
I was gonna say a 3.
Okay, so that's kind of what our thoughts are. When it comes out on HBO or Showtime or whatever, or on Redbox, go watch it.
Yeah,
you will laugh at it, and you will feel good about watching it when you get done. You're not gonna be like, oh, I wasted 2 hours of my life. You're gonna be like, okay, that was cool. Like I had fun.
It was fun.
But it's not gonna be one of those like you're thinking about it like 4 days later kind of thing.
No, it's not. It's not like that.
No, it's like hey, I got some popcorn, I hang out with my friends. Hey, we should do a game night, as long as it's not a murder mystery. But you'd be sitting around with your friends on a movie night kind of thing, eating popcorn. Or like, hey, we should do games.
Yep.
The next movie Janice is going to talk about because it's Quiet Place, and I didn't see it.
And he needs to see it.
I need to see it. I want to see it. I went to ZapCon, which is a arcade game convention that we have here in Phoenix.
Yep.
And she took our daughter to go see Quiet Place in the loudest theater ever conceived by man.
It was in the Dolby Theater, and I walked up to buy tickets, and I'm texting him. I'm like, oh my God, it's in the Dolby Theater. There is nothing there. It's called A Quiet Place. Nobody talks in this movie. I don't understand why they did that, but okay, fine, whatever. So,
because it was the big movie that weekend.
Whatever. Ooh, everybody breathing is in Dolby. It's amazing. So this came out like what, February, March?
I think April was ZapCon, so mid-April.
Okay. But I think it came out before then. I think it came out in March, and then it was like the first weekend or something that we went and saw it. It was an awesome movie. He needs to see it. He doesn't do horror movies. It's not necessarily, I don't know. I guess it's in the horror genre.
Get Out was in the horror genre,
right?
And I love Get Out.
It's in the horror.
I loved it too. So.
It's in the horror genre, like Get Out is. You're like, okay, okay. There's not a whole lot you could talk about. It's a very quiet movie.
It's quiet, and there's stuff that happens, and you can't really. Like we said, we didn't want to spoil stuff, and I know some stuff that happens because I just, it's been out long enough. You hear people talk about it, whatever, and you just get tired of skipping ahead on whatever movie review show that you're watching.
Yeah.
But I know some stuff that goes on. The things about this movie was the theater experience with everybody, like people opening like wrappers and stuff like that, and people shh,
Our daughter bought popcorn, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna regret that. And she was like, I was like trying to eat popcorn as quietly as possible.
The rumor is that they're there's talks of doing a second one.
Yeah, because it made I think it cost $10 million.
Yeah, and I think
make.
it's like 150 or something like that, or 145 or something like that. Is what it made domestically, not even like worldwide, like just domestically.
Yeah,
and so there's talk about doing a second one, and we've discussed it a couple times, not on the show, but we've discussed it, and the idea of doing somewhere else in the world while this is all going on, and how they handle it and stuff like that.
They told
kind of
this story. This story is over. They've told it. There's nothing else to really talk about. And somebody said, well, because they're in not a neighborhood, but in an area where they have neighbors are kind of in the country, so their neighbors are kind of far. But they have some interactions with their neighbors, and somebody said something about, well, we could go see their story, and I still feel like that's too close.
Right.
I want to know what happened in the big cities, or what happened when this first all started, or
kind of like what The Purge has done. They've kind of done...
Or Cloverfield, but they've missed a little bit recently. But that kind
of same idea. That's within this universe. You don't have to even call it Quiet Place. You can call it something else, but then find out later that it's in the Quiet Place universe.
Right.
That would be kind of a cool way of doing that story. A score for Quiet Place, since I couldn't find it.
I probably didn't do a score. I really liked it. I'm going to say a 4.
Okay. Like, everybody who's seen it has said it's amazing. And
it is.
The next movie we saw, back to the whole small movie thing, that we're going to talk about is Bad Samaritan. Now, everybody's like, what's Bad Samaritan? Bad Samaritan was a movie starring David Tennant, written and directed by Dean Devlin. Now, Dean Devlin has done a bunch of different writing, but he wrote and was a showrunner for Leverage and The Librarians, which two are our more favorite shows. He wrote Independence Day. He wrote and partly directed Geostorm. So there's this little like give and take and whatever. Even Dean said, Geostorm just didn't work out the way we were hoping.
Because they kind of got away from him.
Yeah, well, and they reshot like a whole bunch of the movie on him. So, this is a really small movie about this guy and his partner who are valet tenants at this like mom and pop high-end Italian food place.
Yep.
And they would take the valet cars and drive back to the homes and rob them. And take small things that people wouldn't really recognize that it's gone.
Yep.
So small pieces of jewelry, or a camcorder or something like that. Something small that they wouldn't really notice until days or weeks or months later. And then one of the guys goes, gets a car. The car is owned by David Tennant. He goes to his house, and there's somebody chained up in the house. This is not spoilers. It was in the fucking trailer. and then now it's this stalker movie essentially for the rest of the movie, and it's a very, very, very slow build. Like the first, I think we said in our review, like the first 5-10 minutes is about setting up the universe that they're in Portland.
Yeah.
And so it's super slow on purpose. And we said afterwards, I'm like, I was 10 minutes in and I was already thinking about walking out. It was so slow.
Yeah.
But that was on purpose, and we didn't realize that until towards the end when the pace is like, I can't keep up. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then there's this thing, and then there's this thing, and then there's this thing.
You're sitting on the edge of your seat, and you're tense for...
I was sweating by the time we got done.
Yeah.
It was a full-on, I am very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The further we went in the movie, the more uncomfortable I was, like sitting in my seat, and I'm kind of doing this, and I'm just like, you're making me crazy. But it was just a cool, awesome small movie.
Yeah. Yep.
It didn't come out in a ton of theaters. Didn't make a ton of money. It was backed by Legion M, which is this fan-owned and run production company.
Yeah.
So it's like a GoFundMe kind of thing. Yep. I'm very interested in putting money into it, because then we get to go to premieres and stuff like that, depending on what level you're in. But we're trying to go to England instead. But this was their first really big movie, and so they didn't put I think they said it was like $4 or $5 million they put in the movie, and they made all of that back and more. So
yeah.
But what did you think of the movie?
I loved it. I want to watch it again. I was actually looking at my score and I was like, that's a little low. A lot of times you're hyped up when you leave a movie, and so you're like, oh, this is the best movie ever, and you give it a really big score, and then a couple days later you're like, it was okay, but it wasn't you kind of come down off that high or whatever. But this is the opposite. I would almost give it a better score now.
Well, you can give it a better score.
No, I want to watch it again.
All right, fine. She gave it a 3 because she hated the movie.
Right.
And I gave it a 3.5 because it's the worst movie ever. 3.325. We've talked about this in the past. For us, a 3, 3.5. We're not saying the movie is terrible with that score. A terrible score for us is like 2.5 and less, probably 2.25.
Yeah.
And 5 is less. I think I gave Geostorm like a 2, like that kind of thing. But 3 is not like, we're not saying it's the middle of the road either. For this particular movie, this is how I felt about it. Upon further viewings, that score will change.
Yeah.
And that was my comments about Han Solo. Again, not going to be on this list. But with more viewings of Solo, I think I'm going to like that movie more and more.
Yeah. There's plenty of movies out there that we watched, and maybe we bought it or we rented it or something, and we were like, oh, okay, this is cool, we're gonna buy it, and now we can quote it verbatim.
Right. Tag and Game Night will be that kind of movie. Bad Samaritan will not be that kind of movie.
No, probably not. I don't really know what you would quote.
The next movie is a really big surprise to be on our list. And that is Ryan Reynolds' tiny little independent movie called Deadpool 2. It's really small.
Yeah, you might have heard of it.
It's made like $450 or $500 million or $7 gazillion in the States already this year.
I think it's still in the movie theaters.
It's still in the movie theaters. It was in the top 5 still. It was like, yeah, it's dumb. Or top 10. I mean, it was a top 10. Everybody has talked about Deadpool 2. Does it live up to the first one?
It's a different movie than
Right.
the first one, and
Right.
we said that in our review.
Yeah. I feel it's as good as the first one, but like you said, it's a different movie.
Yeah. I just can't compare it to the first one because it's a different movie.
Right.
I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
It held up, but it's a different movie.
It is one of those movies that you will watch it again and get a different perspective on the movie. And then you'll watch it again and you get a different perspective.
Because we saw this one twice.
Yeah, and the first time we laughed our ass off so much that we missed a lot of stuff the second time.
Yeah.
And then the second time we went and saw it in a sensory sensitive theater, so the lights were up, the music was down, and they told us to talk. So I'm pre-laughing at the jokes before they even hit. And so that was a different experience that was going on.
I still don't understand why you would put Deadpool 2 in a sensory sensitive
Right.
movie theater, but okay.
The stuff that happens with X-Force, not knowing what the comic was, and then finding out what the comic was, and then seeing what happens in X-Force is, I don't believe they fucking went there. Like,
I didn't know
there'll
anything.
be some continuations of that comment in the next few movies we talk about.
Yeah.
I don't believe they went there.
I didn't know anything. I thought I knew from the commercials.
Yeah.
And then I saw the movie and I was like, I didn't know anything.
I didn't know anything. And this is a comic book movie that'll make you feel like, will give you the feels. Like you are at the end, you're starting to understand both Wade's plight in his life and Deadpool's responsibility.
Right.
And there's a difference in there, and it all makes sense towards the end. So
yeah.
It's so much fun. Everybody's talked about it. We don't need to go on forever and ever. I gave it a 4. She gave it a 3.5. She hated it.
I well, hate might be too strong, but I strongly dislike T.J. Miller's performance.
Yeah.
That's what I hated about that movie.
That's the one reason I don't think.
I probably would have given it higher.
I mean, if they did the Star Wars Last Jedi cut where they cut out all the female parts, maybe they just cut out the T.J. Miller parts.
Just put somebody else's face over his.
Yeah. The next one we're going to talk about again is one of the smaller movies, and it's called Upgrade. It's got a bunch of people that you really haven't seen, or they're known actors, but they're not like super known, actors.
Second tier,
maybe third, fourth tier kind of guys. It is about this guy. It's in their future, and the usage of technology is more advanced than it is today. So a lot more self-driving cars. You're much more reliant on home computers, turning on their lights and everything.
It's close enough in the future that you recognize it, right? It's not stuff that you're like, it's not Star Trek,
It's more like Minority Report.
I think Minority Report was even, at the time that it came out, was super advanced. This is like, it's like Alexa in 5 or 10 years, and self-driving cars, like you said, are just more prevalent, and it's all stuff you know and see today, just more advanced.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting science fiction commentary on both our reliance on technology and also what we are trying to do with technology and trying to teach it and have it learn.
It's a Twilight Zone episode.
It is. It's very much. Yeah. It's very much a Twilight Zone episode.
Technology can be a wonderful thing, and it can also potentially not be a wonderful thing.
Right. And it's this guy gets paralyzed, and they put a chip in his head, and then the chip talks to him and takes over his body, and there's some
so that he's no longer paralyzed.
So he's no longer paralyzed, so he can walk around and do stuff, and so you have that dependency that the chip has to still function to have him, and him having the chip to still be able to walk and move and do stuff, and it kind of escalates from there. And we saw this in the theater like a week and a half, 2 weeks after it came out. I think we were 2 of 5 people in the theater. Like, it didn't do super well in the movie theaters. But this is gonna be one of those movies you come back in like 5 months when it comes out on Blu-ray, and like everybody's gonna be like, "Have you seen Upgrade? Here's a copy. Go watch it."
It's we saw a bunch of stuff for it, but up until maybe a couple weeks before it came out, maybe a month before it came out, I thought it was a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was coming out in the theater, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's and again, that's one of those movies I don't believe they fucking went there with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's very violent at times, and very bloody at times. But it makes sense. It like the brutality in what they show and why they show it makes complete sense for what the story is.
Yeah, it's not just bloody for bloody's sake.
Yeah, it does a really good job of making you understand why it's that way. And it's the guy who's the head guy, the lead guy. I should have gotten his name. He's amazing in it.
Yeah,
his ability to move robotically when he has the chip and the chip takes over, and how he kind of moves very kind of straight lined and very binary kind of way and stuff like that is just amazing. And it's just so well done. And when he's paralyzed, he's full on paralyzed. He's like trying to pull himself by his chin and stuff. Yeah. It's so well done. It's already out of the theater, but when it does come out on Blu-ray, we're probably going to buy it. It's one of those that I will probably want to watch multiple times.
Yeah.
I really want to see the DVD extras. Is really what I want to come down to. Both for the fight scenes and the technology conversation and all that kind of different stuff. Again, I couldn't find the reviews. I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah, 4 works.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and it's gonna be one of those movies like Bad Samaritan or in Annihilation. Annihilation wasn't a super big movie either. It's like those 3 movies, you're going to come back at the end of the year and have these conversations of, why did these movies not do so well? Everybody now is getting caught up with them, and they're like, oh, these are fucking amazing.
Yeah, and some of that potentially has to do with movies costing a lot of money and people just not having the money to go to the smaller movies.
Every single one of these movies we've seen with Ant-Man and the Wasp, we haven't seen it twice now, but everything else we've seen with the Movie Pass.
Yeah.
And so...
I didn't see A Quiet Place with the Movie Pass because it was in Dolby. I had every intention of seeing it with the Movie Pass, and then I got there and it was in Dolby. So
okay, so most of these movies we've seen with the Movie Pass at least once, or we saw a second or third time because of the Movie Pass.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The next 2 are big, huge surprises of why they're on our list. First one is Black Panther. Came out in February. Fucking amazing.
Yep.
Cinema Wins tried to ruin it for me, and I won't let them. Cinema Sins. Sorry, Cinema Sins tried to ruin it for me. They pointed out some plot hole details. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Again, a movie I don't believe they fucking went there. And they fully Coogler did an amazing job of making you feel engulfed by the African culture, but yet, and having the commentary of how black people throughout history have been treated so badly, having that conversation and still making you root for the bad guy and still making you feel like not being like slammed in your face with it.
Right.
It's part of the commentary. It's part of the story arc of the movie, but it doesn't slap you in the face with it.
Right. And it moves the conversation along from it's your fault. It's not like slavery. None of us were alive. Mm-hmm. None of our grandparents were alive. I don't personally have anything to do with what happened, but that you can empathize and understand how black people feel and how they were raised in their culture. There are things that happen today that we could and do, have an effect on that continue that kind of mentality. But it kind of makes you aware of the black history, the black experience,
the black history, the black culture,
making you feel like it's your fault because you're white.
Right. Although one of the best jokes is, look, another white boy for me to fix, from Shuri. Oh, by the way, it's a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And a fucking James Bond movie. It's a straight out Bond movie. You just, if you would have taken the superpowers that the T'Challa has, you take that out and just remove Black Panther and put in James Bond, the Black Edition, and have it's the same. It's gadgets. It's travel, political intrigue. Sexy women, great fight scenes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's a superhero movie. It's like the superhero movie is like the 4th reason why this movie is amazing. Yeah. And just everybody's so good in it. And you 100% feel, understand, and root for Killmonger.
Yeah.
Until the last 15 minutes and when he starts...
I don't know that I ever rooted for him.
No, I rooted for him. Well, there was a few minutes in there. I'm like, yeah, get him. Fuck them. Fuck those guys. They know what the fuck they're talking about. and then he went off the deep end.
Yeah, but I did understand and I did feel sorry for him.
Yeah. It was so well done. 4.5s for both of us. We own it. We've seen it a bunch of times already. We're gonna probably watch it a bunch of more times.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And then. The last one, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. But Geostorm is the last movie we're going to talk about today. We gave it 5s. It was amazing. The story arc made... No.
No. It says
it's Infinity War. This is the first movie we gave 5 perfect scores.
Yeah.
I know it's not a perfect movie. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah. I can't wait for it to come out so I can watch it. We saw it twice.
We saw it twice within like 3 days of each other, we wanted to see it more.
And I want to see it again. Yeah.
It is the culmination of 18 movies over 10 years and the buildup of everything. And they, like, Nanya Comaneched, like, the fucking landing. Like, perfect landing. And they fucking did that. It would have been so easy for Marvel not to do that. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it. Okay, I'm not going to say it. But it would have been so easy for them to not do that. And everybody would have been okay with it. A lot of people would have been okay. It's made over $2 billion. Yeah. It's made $2 million, and that's it. It's made $2 billion with a B.
Yeah. So, to kind of explain this movie to you, if you haven't seen it,
$2 billion. If you haven't seen it,
yeah, you're the only.
And you're watching this show.
Our daughter took 2 of her brothers to see the movie maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They finally, they're kids and they work and they have lives and they just don't have time to go to the movies all the time. So she took them and they all went to see it. And she kept telling us for at least a month and a half that she knew.
I know what happens.
I know what happens. Because, it's kind of, that's the stuff has been spoiled at this point if you haven't seen it. And then she texts me and she's like, "Oh my God."
They went the full way. And they made Thanos the hero of the movie. Every Marvel movie ends with will return. Doctor Strange will return. Guardians of the Galaxy will return. Iron Man will return. Every movie ends with that.
Yeah.
Thanos, after the post-credit scenes and the credits and everything like that, the screen goes black and it says Thanos will return. Thanos is the hero of that movie.
I don't know if I'd say he's the hero.
He is, according to the Marvel stuff, because everybody else has been the hero of the movie has been blah 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 will return.
Well, what were they gonna say?
Thor's gonna return. Probably with better aim this time, but
aim for the head
or the arm, or fucking Peter. We could just do a whole diatribe on just what happens with the fight with. Anyways, it's so well told. It's so well laid out. Everybody's performance is so good. Like everybody brought it. I have no questions on anybody's performance. And oh, by the way, the best performance in the entire fucking movie is Josh Brolin. And he's CGI'd or motion captured most of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good villain. There's been so many comic book movies, DC and Marvel, that the villain, the bad guy, whatever, is kind of crappy. The villain was good. It was a good... you felt fulfilled, right? After 10 years of all these, you felt this culmination was... It was a good, it's not an end, a good culmination of all those.
It's a good completion of this arc.
Yeah. And
the way that the guys at Collider Hero is John Schnapp and Coy and all them, it kind of made it sound like, the way they explained it was, in the comic book world, which is what these movies are from, you have all the individual issues of Doctor Strange and Captain America and Iron Man and Thor. You have all these whatever, and then you have the big, the big crossover ones with the Avenger movies and whatever.
Right.
And then you have your big annual completion of the story arc.
Right.
And that's what this was. It was an annual. It was It was the one-off. It is Infinity Gauntlet. It is Secret Wars. It's year one, although year one's a little bit different. But you get what I'm trying to say. It's a standalone completion of everything that's happened up to this point. Now we have Captain Marvel in February of next year, and then Infinity War is the first weekend in May, unless they move it up again. And right now we know exactly dick and squat of what's going to happen.
Yes.
We have no title. We have no number. We have no who's coming back. It's the movie's done. I mean, they're finishing CGI, but they finished everything. Right. They shot them back to back, so everything's been shot. Everything's done. They've already done their pickups. They're working on the last. Like, they'll be ready for this movie to come out in December, and we have to wait till fucking May. And we know nothing. We have no idea who's in the movie except for one person, two people for sure. We know for sure who are going to be in the movie. That's Thanos and Captain Marvel. Everybody else is up in the air.
Well, I mean, I think you can
figure some shit out, but for sure we know two people for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you anymore. Just watch the movie. Infinity War is amazing. That's our episode. That was our kind of our mid-season, mid-year top 10 movies. I'm just going to go with top 10 movies.
Sure.
And a couple of little news and notes, but for the most part, that's what we've got for this part of the year. Now we start the second half. We get into the really shitty part of the summer, and then we sit around and we wait for the Oscar bait movies to start showing up in the fall.
Right.
And then our list will completely change.
Right.
But we want to know what you thought of the movies. Is there a movie that we missed this year that maybe you saw that you really loved? Or maybe there was one on our list that you thought was terrible. And that's fine. Let us know. Leave a comment and tell us what were your top 10 movies of this year. No particular order. I don't care about the order. While you're here, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to get notifications. And like I said earlier, you just go up to the little bar up there and you copy the whole thing, and then you paste in your social media and tell all your friends to follow us, because we're trying to be late to the party.
Not really.
But someday. And get a hold of us on all of our social media outlets to Facebook, PopCultureCult, Instagram, PopCultureCult1, Twitter, Pop_Cult1. I'm going to get that right someday. And we're on the Stardust app, reacting to everything that we can when we watch it, including everything we talked about today.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
We some tired. Good night now.